Breaking Bad has made its home here in Albuquerque for the past 6 years, and each episode has brought about $1 million in local spending, so the series has brought a significant economic impact. But what has that meant for the local workforce, for tourism, and for the film and media industry here? I sat down with a panel of industry experts to find out. Tonight we have a special edition of The Line. We're looking at the impact of Breaking Bad here in Albuquerque and of course on to Mexico. This long-running AMC series is ending, but it has made Albuquerque its home for 5 years plus. Joining me to talk about this is Stuart Lyons, line producer on Breaking Bad, our good friend Ann Lerner, film liaison from the city of Albuquerque. We're also joined by Kira Arai, casting director who worked on Breaking Bad, and our friend Eric Witt. He was the media industry's liaison for former Governor Bill Richardson, is now an industry consultant. Ann, let me start with you. I loved a quote I saw in you in the press a couple of weeks ago. Let's talk about economic impact. We'll get to the artistry in just a little bit. $1 million impact per episode here for this show. And if I have my understanding, it's about 65 episodes total. That is no small impact for our city. Let's break that down a little bit. How does that million work? Who benefited? Why was it spent? All that kind of thing.
You know, I think that having Breaking Bad here has been a game changer in many ways. Bringing in new money from outside of the state and bringing it in and spending it here. These are direct spends. This number, $1 million, is a rough number based on what was the direct spend per episode, which is every 8 days. The crew for the pilot was 60% New Mexican. By the end of the show, it was 90% New Mexican crew members. But more than that, it brought a lot of attention to the city. It's a game changer.
Sure. Now, economic impact, these things have a ripple effect as well. I like the way you parsed it between direct spend, but then also ripple. The ripple effect has to be more money even on top of that, and even for a longer period of time when you count in tourism, people spending money from tourism, all that kind of thing. We may not know the economic impact at the end of the day for quite a while. Stuart Lyons, let me ask you, thank you for your hard work here on this show. It's just a big fan favorite for everybody here. Great. I'm so curious, you've been here since the pilot, since the beginning. Yes. I'd love to get a sense of your journey here. What's it been like to be on this epic show and here in Albuquerque?
Well, it's, I think, been not only a game changer, but a career changer for just everyone who's been involved with the show. I mean, I've done over 30 television series, but nothing approaches both the artistry and the impact socially of a series like Breaking Bad. To be associated with it, to have helped realize Vince Gilligan's vision through this is just been, it's been a challenge, right. But it's also been a wonderful learning experience, and then the opportunity to come and stay in New Mexico for as long as I have is also been great.
Yeah, you're a resident now. You're in now.
Well, I'm not an official resident, but I'm here on average 8 months a year. This is starting The Night Shift. This is my third TV series in New Mexico. Breaking Bad, I did Scoundrels, and now Night Shift, and hopefully we'll continue the association.
Congratulations on Night Shift. That's going to be a great project. Good for you. Now, you worked, in your time here, you've worked with a lot of locals, certainly. You've got to know the retail community. There's a lot of ways Breaking Bad, as producers, have reached out to the retail community.
Not just the retail. I mean, in terms of the crew, that transition from 60 to 90%, that can only come about really in a television series, and I think New Mexico recognized that when they passed the Breaking Bad bill, because we're an ongoing situation. We can identify talent here, we can bring them along, we can promote people. It's not that we're coming in for 3 months, going to spend a lot of money and leave. That's right. We're coming in, and I'm in the 100-episode business. And that was, I think, a different attitude than most people thought of when they think of the film industry. They think of people coming in, sometimes ripping them off and getting out of town. Well, I'm here for a long time, and I work for Sony, and everybody knows where to find Sony. Right. So we have a different attitude. We were able to bring people along so that you know, our grip, our electric crews, 100% construction, 100% New Mexican. Kira gets promoted, you know, during the course of it, and now runs casting not only for Breaking Bad, but what other shows?
The Night Shift, Longmire. I did Crash and In Plain Sight and Scoundrels as well with Stu.
So all of this came out of Breaking Bad, and I think her story is really exemplifies what kind of impact we can have. And in terms of retail impact, well, I think Sandia Motors was happy that I bought a car there, and other people have bought cars, and they've bought homes here, condos. Certainly a lot of jewelry and shoes in my case, and you know, a lot of direct spends. I mean, we give every person who's from out of town thousands of dollars a month, literally, to live here, and they spend it here. They spend it either in apartment rentals. They may spend it in airplane tickets. They certainly are spending it at restaurants, and in the malls. I mean, they're living here. They're spending that money here.
Interesting. If you're going to hold on you for a quick second, I want to get Eric in. I appreciate you mentioning the term bringing people along. That's actually a very interesting way to phrase that, because Eric, I remember when Governor Richardson at the time, back a few years, and yourself were going to Hollywood pitching episodic television shows versus feature films that come in for 3 weeks, drop a lot of money, and then split, because the professionalism of the crew base was a direct result of that. People able to come along and work on a steady basis. Was that part of the thought process for the governor at the time and yourself?
Absolutely, very consciously so, Grant. Gene, one of the one of the hallmarks of New Mexico's incentive programs that sets it apart from most other states is that we consciously built in crew training components, whether it was direct classes and coursework and stuff in conjunction with the unions, that we do through our community colleges. But in particular, our TV series here, as Stu mentioned, were our live platforms to bring folks along, to bring local New Mexicans along.
There's a specific part of the incentive program called the FCAP, Financial Incentive for Crew Advancement and Placement or something like that. But in essence, if we promote somebody, the incentive increases for that person's salary. And it really is one of the nicest parts of my job is to bring people in and give them opportunities on the show that they haven't had other places, because they've shown what they can do. Right now, my entire office is Alyssa Cannon came in as an APOC, production office coordinator. She's now the production office coordinator. The person who's the APOC now was a PA last year. Kira's move up was another example of that. And it goes all the way through. Our assistant directors, many of them were given either their first opportunities because they had worked for PAs and then got into the union, and we were able to advance them all the way up the food chain.
That's how careers work. I love this.
That's how careers work.
It's amazing. Absolutely. Kira, your first initial move from Alaska to here was one thing. So take us from there. What brought you to Albuquerque first? Then we'll get into some of the casting stuff in a second.
What brought me first is initially I was into acting. I grew up in Alaska. I didn't know much about it, so I just thought I was going to get out there, and I kept hearing about Albuquerque, and at first I'm like, Albuquerque? What? But then I thought I have nothing to lose. I wasn't going to LA, so I came down to Albuquerque and got into acting initially. And that's where I met with my former boss. I was actually taking her workshops. And so then she just asked me one day if I wanted to come assist for her, and I thought anything I can do to understand the business more, understand more about acting, and maybe see the other side of the camera to, just wrap my head around it all together. And we really just clicked, and I fell in love with the casting. I fell in love with New Mexico, grew on me quite a bit. And it just was, I had such a good feeling about everything, and it just kind of fell into place. And so Stu has seen me grow up from many years ago. I started on the pilot as well on Breaking Bad, and luckily, and I feel very blessed that I had Sherry Rhodes, who initially started to cast Crash, In Plain Sight, Breaking Bad, which were shows I all got to carry on for her afterwards. And now, because of that foundation, I'm able to start new projects and new shows, but all, because of her help and people like Stu and Vince Gilligan and Michelle and Melissa, that they all supported me, put me under their wing, and really believed in me, and really brought me, how they were all saying, brought me along in a career. So.
Well, part of that journey, unfortunately, was, you mentioned Sherry Rhodes, who was a dear friend of a lot of us in the community. She passed away, and that had to have been a difficulty for you personally and everybody that worked closely with her. But it's so interesting how you picked up that baton and really kept cooking with it. She clearly gave you a great foundation to work with.
Yes, she did. She did. And she was one of the strongest people. So for me, it was very important that I could take everything she taught me and the people around me that supported me as well, and just to keep moving forward with that. That was my main goal, was to just, you know, do her justice. Sherry was phenomenal. I knew I would never fill her shoes, but I knew that I could carry on something really great.
If there's one thing I could point to that has really intrigued me about Breaking Bad and its impact here, is being an actor myself, is the amount of day player roles and the absolute scramble in the acting community here to get on this show. Yeah. I mean, it just became a thing. Yes. Everybody wanted to be on Breaking Bad. And you were the front line of this for a lot of locals. So talk about that. Your experiences working with local people, seeing them also bring brought along in their acting chops
with the actors here, the local actors, it's one of my favorite things about the job is seeing them book roles. It's very exciting to see them grow as actors, and from all levels, from people that are just getting their foot in the door to people that are experienced and have done a lot of work. You see people that come in and they finally book a day playing role, and it's very exciting. And you see people that have been here and they've been on other shows and other TV shows, and then they get a recurring role, or they come, and a lot of the folks on Breaking Bad did come back for more than one episode. And you know, we ended up with a couple series regulars, and people progress, their characters progress throughout the seasons, and you know, some of them eventually got killed off, but we got new ones that kept coming in.
What are you talking about? How does that happen?
In previous seasons.
Previous seasons. So no, we've had great people that are born and raised here that really, you know, Stephen Michael Quezada, Carmen Serrano, we had Jeremiah Bitts, who played Victor, even the little kids, Brock, he was from here. Kaylee, Mike's granddaughter, is from here. The Polo's manager is from Albuquerque, you know, so we had Bogdan, who was incredible. He's from here, and you know, he ended up getting a substantial role in the long run. Mr. Chow had a fun role that came back, and
that's right.
He's from here.
I didn't realize
you know,
that.
so we've had a lot of locals that really came back after just one day playing a role, and just one day playing a role is really exciting, but for it to keep going is really pretty fantastic.
Just real quick, because again, we get so close to this about these terms, day player role, a lot of folks might not know what that is. Just a quick explanation of what a day player role is and what it means.
Day player role is somebody who comes in who has a speaking role, and it's either someone that you're probably not going to see again because they're maybe an attendant at a gas station or something like that, where we're not going to go back to that place. Right. But they have a speaking role for that day, and they, you know, as we've been talking about money too, and they make a good amount of money for a day, and they get residuals, and so, you know, that alone is fantastic. And if they come back,
do I have it right that these days for SAG day player roles is about $800 for a day of
getting
work?
closer to 900 now.
900
moves
now?
up,
Okay.
yeah,
that's good money around these parts.
Yeah, and then you have, you know, you have wardrobe fitting money that gets included, and overtime and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of adds up for them for a day.
That's interesting.
So it's good to keep them working, and then that's, you know, we cast probably 8 to 10 roles an episode. Yeah. So that's just one show. So these actors, most of them are crossing and doing other projects at the same time. So it's nice to see them being able to keep a steady career around the film and grow as actors. I
have to tell you, I have to confess, like every tough guy actor in Albuquerque wanted to be on that show. Anyone that looked like a tough guy, they thought they were a shoo-in, you know what I mean? They could be a bad guy. And I had a friend of mine say, I just want to go on Breaking Bad and kill somebody. I don't care if I'm killed afterwards. I just want to, you know, it's like whatever. But you know what I mean? There's the interest in it was just so amazing from the actor point of view. And Ann, you know, one of the interesting things about when I watch the show, or I have friends from out of state, we all do, they watch the show, is the various locations that the show has done their thing at. I'm going to imagine in the early days you were somewhat influential, I'm going to imagine, on just getting the idea across about how many interesting locations there were here to be able to do some of these crazy things.
I think one thing that the city offers for Breaking Bad, I don't know if you know this, but when a series is written, oftentimes the location manager may not get the script until a week before it starts shooting. That's not a lot of time to get the locations. Right. So with the city of Albuquerque, Carrie Wells in the film office does one-stop film permitting. Wonderful. Christian Diaz de Bedoya is absolutely amazing as a location manager, and they all work together. People from different divisions in the city come down, sit around a table like this, and talk about it and make sure that all of the necessary signatures occur so they can shoot where they want, when they want. And Albuquerque's extremely film friendly, opening up their doors, allowing people to film in their neighborhoods, you know, welcoming them.
You know, I can't think of, you know, if the greatest hits clips in my head of various my personal favorite locations around town. You know, it's hard to imagine, you know, certain restaurants up above them, there's windows being blown out.
Java Joe's.
Java Joe's. It was
It's
amazing.
memorable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I was
Yeah.
in Gertrude
Absolutely,
Zachary last weekend, and they are still getting people coming in saying Breaking Bad shot here. It is still serving as an attraction, and that episode was on our first season.
Right.
So here we are 5 years later, and it's still serving as a commercial, in essence, for their establishments. And
So
they'll
back,
lose
you know,
that.
it would be interesting to know, it's difficult to measure, but speaking of economic impact, how many of those people who go there, because you filmed there,
Right.
then buy a piece of fabulous furniture or item or something like that?
That's right. Exactly right. Again, Eric, I can't imagine you could have ever imagined this situation working out as well as it did. But, you know, at the beginning of it all, there was, you know, we were talking a little bit earlier, and I know I got a lot of feedback that folks were not quite there with the premise of the show. If you hadn't seen it, they weren't quite ready to take a bite of it, didn't feel it was good for Albuquerque, kind of a reputation thing. Was there some angst about it early on in there, and how did that all get worked through?
Well, I think among the film community, there was excitement because there's a familiarity with, you know, a premise versus what an actual show turns out to be. But yeah, there was some trepidation. I was talking with Stu before that in fact Sony was turned down by the State Investment Office for the then existent film loan program because of cultural sensitivities, you know, around the issue. But once we saw that pilot come out, you know, it was we knew there was something special there. And even reading the script, at first, it was such an unusual premise, and for a company like Sony, you know, in particular, to take on something like this. I mean, they clearly were well behind it. But yeah, you know, when you have that interface between a government incentive program and a premise like this, there's going to be some folks that that are a little cold feet.
Government versus artistry, not usually the two, not an alchemy you see awfully a lot times, Stuart. You know, it's interesting how, when I think about a producer and how you have to do your things, you have to dig under the skin of a city, literally. You have to get underneath the surface of something to really get to the impact, the tone, the visual tone.
I outsource that to Ann.
You know, oh, I see.
Yes,
well,
yeah.
you're a smart man, that's for sure.
I don't have time. What's it look like down there? So.
Exactly. But you know, these things are critical because it seems to me that there was a very sure hand at the wheel here with Vince Gilligan.
Yes.
You had to work with that part of the production closely. What was that like, working with Vince Gilligan?
Well, it's always a pleasure when somebody can give you an exact answer of what they want, what they don't want, what they're looking for. What is difficult is when you show locations and the person says, well, I don't know what I don't like about it, but keep bringing me stuff.
Sure.
That's not helpful. It's not guiding you, you know. Bigger, smaller, whatever. That's important. And Vince's vision was so specific, and he remained on top of all these details from pilot to the last episode. Even though he wasn't here, you know, we would devise video links, or we would post pictures on secure sites, and he would see them after he'd finished writing, and then let his wishes known about everything. But he approved every location, every prop, every actor, every extra.
Wow.
I mean, we're talking.
And he gave feedback on everything.
And,
you know, he'd let you know.
Right. He would let you know where you were going. So it's not that we could, you know, outguess him, because there's a genius at work there, and you just need to be able to understand what he's asking for and then get it.
Sure.
But when you got it, he loved it.
That's interesting. You know, he was quoted in the New York Times in a piece a few days ago about Albuquerque as a character.
Yeah.
And also the premiere episode of The Writer's Room on the Sundance Channel. There was a brilliant love letter from the writing crew about Albuquerque. I encourage folks to really chase that down and watch that. I felt great about it. It was just amazing.
Well, all the writing crew came out here. When when their episode, the one they wrote, would come out, they would all come out. They were all producers as well, and they were all very familiar with the city by the time that was over. And we would do things like, with Christian, I would say to him, look, I don't know what the scripts are going to be, but why don't you just show me stuff that's interesting, I'll send it to them, and maybe they'll write to it. And there are several scenes, particularly in the last couple of years, that were crafted around the visuals that Christian was able to deliver to the room. So, yeah, we embraced Albuquerque. We weren't shooting it pretending it was any other place.
Right.
And it did become a character. The light, what it gave us in terms of locations, the ease of filming here, the ease of getting different looks here. We can be downtown, shooting in the morning, and then we can be in the middle of nowhere. Now, that's only 10 minutes away.
That's right.
You know, we may not show that our studio's right behind the camera, but we have a land horizon for 20, 30 miles, and you know, to do that kind of filmmaking in other cities is very difficult.
You're cooking with gas now, and what have you learned about our acting chops here? Do we have the stuff here for any kind of episode, any kind of genre, any kind of a television series as far as you're concerned? Can we cover here with our acting crew in Albuquerque?
Oh, with the crew?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the actors as well. I mean, they've really, from '07 when I started, it's grown. I mean, not only do we have the actors that have been here for a long time, people come in because they want, you know, they want to work, and they move here, and they become New Mexicans, and they get residency here, and so I think the pool's grown quite a bit, and we have people, I mean, even on the new show, we're starting the night shift. For that pilot, we cast about 36, 38 people in the pilot. They brought 8 people, for the main cast from LA, but everybody else was from New Mexico, and a few of those are going to be coming back as regulars, and a lot of them, they're already thinking, oh, we want to bring this person back, we want to bring this person back. So the acting here has gotten a lot stronger. The people, the pool is growing, and people are working.
Yeah.
And, you know, same with the crew, just like crew, we have a great crew here, I think.
That's interesting.
Probably one of the best crews.
I agree. I get the feedback all the time. Yeah, please.
We have fabulous crew. I mean, outside of LA and New York, I think we have the most qualified crew, numbers-wise, in New Mexico. You can quote me on that.
Well, and they're in,
We will.
And they're in, you know, they're in demand all across the country now because we have some of the most highly talented crew. You know, the productions that will come in here, the producers and the directors will like that crew, and so on the next project they'll take them, you know, with them to other states. We have a lot of folks working in Georgia right now, a lot of folks in Louisiana right now.
I had no idea.
Hopefully we're bringing them back, you know, with the pickup in production here. But to Kira's point, you know, one of the hallmarks of our incentive program was to maximize the local employment, both on the below the line and above the line in New Mexico, and consciously embarking on these elements that can provide that kind of training, you know, because I mean, that's what this program's all about for us. We didn't target this business because we like making movies, although we did. That's the business I came out of, you know, before going into government, and now that I'm back in it. But it's because of the job creation and economic impact potential that this business has that really is unique, in my opinion, as a profile of an industry. Across a number of things that we looked at, you know, that wouldn't have that kind of same immediate and broad-based impact that the film and television industry does.
Yeah. This show has proved something to this city. This is my personal opinion, that it has held up a mirror to ourselves. We've been able to see ourselves in a vastly different light, and I got to tell you something, it's just put a spring in our step that is incalculable. And Stuart, thank you for your work. Thank you so much for coming down from Alaska and being part of this.
I'm very happy to
right,
be
exactly. Eric and Ann, thank you very much.
Thank you, Gene.
Good to see you guys. Absolutely. And check out our Web Extra, where our panel talks about the impact of film and media incentives on New Mexico. That's at NewMexicoInFocus.org and on our YouTube channel. We love hearing from you as we plan our shows. Social media is the best way to do that. We're on Facebook and Twitter. Just search New Mexico in Focus. I'm Gene Grant. We'll see you next week in Focus.